What is 10x B&B? It's an Airbnb mentorship program that teaches you how to make money on Airbnb. Now, here's the craziest part. Without having to own any property, without having to rent any property, without needing to buy any furniture, and here's the crazier part, without needing to spend a single penny on a property. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like BS. It sounds too good to be true. But here's the thing. It's 100% legit, and it really does work. So how the heck is that possible? Well, it's possible through a new method called Airbnb Co-Listing. Now with Co-Listing, you manage properties for property owners on Airbnb and you take a cut of the earnings. That's typically 20 to 25% of the money generated. You know what? I've got an idea. It might be easier if I just showed you how co-listing works instead of just telling you how it works. To prove to you that I'm not making all this stuff up, let me walk you through a real life example. This right here is John. He's a student in the 10x B&B program and he lives in Vancouver, British Columbia. He's got a full-time job and he wanted to make money on Airbnb as a side hustle. Now, after learning the co-listing system, he's already landed, this is pretty nuts, 4 Airbnb listings that he doesn't own and doesn't rent. Now, you can see the listings on the screen before you. Now, here's the thing. He hasn't spent a single penny on any of these properties, and he's already generated $50,000 in bookings in just the last 3 months. Now, my personal favorite is this beautiful chalet that he's managing that sits on 1 acre in Ladysmith, British Columbia. And in case you don't know what an acre means, that's 43,000 square feet. That's the size of an American football field for context. Now, I want you to pause and just take a second to take this all in. This is a multi-million-dollar property that literally sits on a football field-sized lot. It rents for $500 to $600 a night, and John doesn't rent or own the property.
These are co-listings. Like, I don't own these places.
But you're telling me he's taking a 20% cut of the earnings to manage it? Now, you might be wondering the following question. Why don't landlords just do this themselves? Why the heck do they need John? Well, that is a great question, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, let me show you another property that John's managing for a completely different landlord. What you see right here is a 2-bed, 2-bath condo in the Yaletown neighborhood of downtown Vancouver. And John literally just took this listing live literally today. You can see that because it says new on the listing before you. But even though he just took the listing live, he's already generated $2,800 as a booking for just 9 nights. Now, from this $2,800 booking, $2,043 is the gross revenue for John. Now, from this, John takes a 20% management fee, which works out to $204 for just 1 booking, for just 1 listing. And here's the thing, he doesn't have to do any work for it. It's completely passive income.
Look at how full this place has been. June, July, August, like it's pretty much full capacity, which is just awesome. This is what you need. This is what you want. Your landlords will be happy if you're co-listing.
So to sum up, $50,000 of bookings for just 4 Airbnb listings in just 3 months is what John has accomplished from joining the 10x B&B program and learning the co-listing system. Now, John's plan is to get 10 Airbnb listings in the next 6 months. Now, with that many properties, he'll be generating over $100,000 a month in bookings. Now, let's go back to a question I raised earlier. Why are property owners letting John manage their property? Why don't they just do it themselves? I mean, they own the property, so why don't they just do it themselves and make all the money for themselves? Here's how I'm going to answer that question. Let's pretend for a second that you're a property owner. Now, if I told you that if I can double or triple your long-term rental rate net of my commission and I do all the work, would you say yes or no to that question? Now, in my experience, pretty much every single property owner that I've come across has said yes to that exact question. I do all the work and I double or triple their income. It's a pretty much no-brainer, right? And here's the thing. We mainly target properties that have been sitting for rent unoccupied for at least 20 days or longer. That means that we're solving a real pain point for landlords. In other words, we're not just making property owners more money, we're actually filling their empty properties with occupants. And let me give you a business 101 lesson. If you're not solving a pain point in a market, you can't make any money. But in this case, we're solving a real pain point for property owners, and that's why we're making a lot of money doing it. Now let's dive into this misconception just a little bit deeper as to why landlords need us and why they don't do it themselves. So think about it like this. Think of a property owner that you know personally. It could be a family member, a friend, or even a complete stranger. Now that property owner likely fits into one of two categories. They're either a business owner or a full-time employee. Am I right? The point is this, these are busy professionals. Now, in your opinion, do these busy professionals want active income or passive income? You all know the answer. They want passive income. Think about it. Long-term rent that they collect from a tenant represents passive income for property owners. That's what they want. The point is, property owners don't want to run a hospitality business. They just want to collect a check and be on their way. Now, let me ask you a few more questions to really crystallize this point. Do property owners know how to work Airbnb SEO to have a listing rank on the first page of Airbnb? No. Do property owners know how to carve a niche in their market? No. Do property owners know how to price on Airbnb? What about pricing for seasonality? No. The property owners know what the minimum stay should be based on the optimal booking window? No. The property owners know how to assess price pacing? No. The property owners know how to fully automate an Airbnb business so they don't have to run around checking in guests, changing sheets, cleaning units, and messaging guests all day long? No. So guys, my point here is that it really does take some know-how and expertise if you want to make big money on Airbnb. It's not just as simple as taking a photo, chucking it on Airbnb, sitting back and printing money. If that was the case, I'd be out of business myself. And it's for all these reasons that I just mentioned that you have 10xBnB mentees just like John getting property after property to manage as a co-listing on Airbnb. Mentees like John are solving a real pain point in the market. They're making landlords more money and they're doing all the work for them. It's a complete no-brainer proposal for property owners. That's why John's been able to land 4 properties in just the last 3 months. Now, John is just one student out of the 1,600 students that we have in the 10xBnB program who have learned how to make money on Airbnb without having to rent or own a single property. All right, so now that you have a better understanding of how Airbnb co-listing works and you understand the pain point in the market that you're solving, let's go into more detail as to what the 10xBnB program has to offer you, and I'll break it down into 3 simple points. Number 1, the 10xBnB program offers you an online course. That means that you can learn the Airbnb co-listing system from the comfort of your own home. Now, you're also going to get access to all the scripts, contracts, software, and all the tools that you need to land your first Airbnb deal and fully automate your business.
What's really interesting and good to point out is this 5-star rating. Like, I wouldn't have gotten that if it weren't for the coursework and the Facebook group on teaching you how to get those type of reviews.
Now, in addition to co-listing, which is once again managing other people's properties, the 10xBnB program also teaches you rental arbitrage. Now, I don't recommend that you start with rental arbitrage, but for the more advanced Airbnb hosts, the 10xBnB program teaches you how to rent a property from a property owner and how to re-rent it on Airbnb. And you keep the difference between rent and Airbnb profit. But again, I don't recommend this as a starting point, but we do teach this in the 10xBnB program. Number 2, the 10xBnB program gives you access to a private community. So within the program, you're going to get access to a private Facebook group, which as of today's recording has more than 1,600 members from all across the world. Now, we don't let just anybody into our program. There is an interview process that you need to pass and we'll only take you on if we feel like you'll be a good fit for our community. Now, you've all heard the saying, your network is your net worth. And within the private 10xBnB community, you'll be able to network with other members online as well as within our in-person events. And here's the thing with networking. You're just one connection away from having doors open for you much quicker than if you were trying to go at it completely alone. And here's the thing. Nobody can be successful in isolation. Just don't Don't forget that. Now, the reason why community is such a big focus for the 10X Community program is because, well, who the heck wants to just take an online course? That's boring. As human beings, we want to work with other like-minded people, and that's exactly where you're going to get access to within our private community. Number 3, the 10X Community program offers you group coaching calls. So every person that's a member of the 10X Community program gets access to weekly group coaching calls. Now, at some point, you're going to have questions, and the best place to get your questions answered are in the group coaching calls. See, the last thing you'd want to have is a burning question, feel stuck, and you just give up. That's why our group coaching calls are a big part of the 10X BNB program. You're never going to feel lost. Someone will always be there to hold your hand and walk you through it step by step. Now, there's much more offered within the 10X BNB program than just the 3 points that I outlined, but I don't want to turn this video into a sales pitch. And at this point, you likely have questions and want to see a step-by-step breakdown of how the Airbnb co-listing method actually works and how you can land your first deal without having to rent or own a single property and without having to spend a single penny. Well, don't worry, I got you covered. We've made a separate video right here, and I've provided a step-by-step breakdown of exactly how Airbnb co-listing works and how you can potentially land your first deal right now. Now, all you need to do is just watch this video. And as a final point, if you got any value out of this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.